the number of tourists was about 470 million during the Spring Festival. And the total expenditure in tourism was about 630 billion RMB yuan. And you could imagine the size. It's only for 8 days. If you look at the statistics year-round, it's colossal. Last year, the total number of visitors was about 4.9 billion. So consumption or expenditure in tourism was approaching 5 trillion RMB yuan. Tourism contributed greatly to job creation and domestic demand. Now, the culture and tourism, together with culture-based exhibition, are very popular. Maybe you have seen that in front of the Palace Museum, there are very long lines during the days of the 2 sessions. I think it's the same thing with the museums in other places. As to the artistic performances, it's the same thing. Last year, in that business of performances, offline, there were about 44 of them. The ticket revenue was exceeding 50 billion RMB yuan. As to performances online, it was thriving even more. It is estimated to exceed 200 billion. And the total revenue, the total number of performers, part of this was about 770 million. Last year, we saw a great recovery of culture and tourism. But some people are arguing that we had such a boom of culture and tourism because of a rebound from the COVID-19 time. But we believe in the necessity. We believe that such a thriving industry has some factors behind them. For example, people's aspiration for better lives has been changing since we're aiming at building a well-off society in an all-round way. Previously, we only sought for the basic needs to be met, but now we could have some extra money to support our need for tourism. So we are seeking more poetic lives. And tourism has become an integral part of people's aspiration for better lives. If we look at the development of industries, culture and tourism industry has a longer industrial chain with wider areas to benefit. Culture and tourism can support the development of hundreds of other industries because they are very popular and they can open sources. If we look at the course of modernization in China, according to the 20th National Congress report, President Xi mentioned that high-quality growth is the first priority for building a modernized country. So how to realize it? We must meet the demand for high-quality consumption. And how to meet that high-end consumption need? There must be some offering from the high-quality culture sector. And that could help to formulate high-end consumption, with which high-quality development will be a reality. And in turn, high-quality development can help to offer higher-quality cultural products to meet people's cultural pursuits. That is conducive to realizing China's modernization. And those could be the backgrounds behind the heat of culture and tourism. It's only natural for culture and tourism to sustain the heat and the popularity. Since netizens are calling for attention from the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, I think we will certainly bear in mind that urge from the public and keep up the good work. According to President Xi, People's aspiration for a better life should be the target of our striving. And the CPC Central Committee puts high premium on the business of culture and tourism and has introduced a series of favorable policies and measures to trigger the consumption sector and cultural tourism. In the government work report this year, Premier Li Qiang stressed that we must cultivate culture, tourism, and some other sectors to generate new consumption drivers, especially the cultural industry. The central government has certain arrangements, and the general public have some expectations, and we will be incentivized. Together with others, we will try to implement the decisions and arrangements from the CPC Central Committee and the State Council. We will build up our infrastructure, improve the quality of culture and tourism sector, and standardize the market of culture and tourism. With high-quality cultural development and tourism development, we can meet people's higher demand for a better life. Thank you.
Next question, please.
Thank you. With
Hong Kong Wenhui newspaper, you talked about the boom of tourism last year, but in reality, we believe that there are still some difficulties. For example, it's very hard to get a ticket to major performances and museums, and there are also ticket scalpers. And also, when foreign travelers travel into China, they find it very challenging to make mobile payments. So what are the future plans of the Ministry of Culture and Tourism? Thank you very much for your question. You actually asked 4 questions, and actually it's more than 4 questions. We're not afraid of questions. What we're truly afraid is not knowing where the questions are, because with the question comes a solution. When we have identified the question, we will know where and how to solve it. So your questions are very constructive. Thank you very much for those questions. Those are the objective reality and the realistic questions that we face. It tells us that there is the gap between our offerings and people's aspirations. And these questions are well reported online, and we are taking some measures to rectify these issues. Some of those rectification measures have become very successful. For example, the difficulties in booking a ticket for large performances, we've taken some targeted measures. For example, we can offer delayed services for some major museums, and they need to extend the business hours. We need to simplify the procedures of ticket booking, and we encourage our travelers to book different time slots for their visits. We also dynamically adjust the number of tickets that we offer to the visitors. We also have taken some human-centered approaches. If you are an adult, you can take 1 or 2 or 3 kids to the museum. Some of the parents, they are visiting the museum with their twin children. There are some very friendly arrangements that's bringing tangible benefits to our visitors. We have physical windows for people to purchase tickets offline. If you cannot find an online channel to do that, so that foreign visitors and senior citizens, they have a chance to enter those museums too. But let me also say that restricting the visitor flow is a general practice globally, because we try to avoid people gathering in a confined space within a very short period of time, because this is not safe, and it may also bring damage to our artifacts being exhibited. That is also hurting the travel experiences. Let me say that China has rich and extensive cultural and tourism resources. We have a great number of medium-sized and small exhibitions and museums, apart from those major and large museums. So if you cannot make it to the large museum, try your luck at the small and medium-sized museums, and you might find some astonishing discoveries. You also talked about the issue of ticket scalpers. In particular, after we have gone through the smooth transition of our COVID-19 response measures, and there were some ticket scalpers. We have paid close attention to that and have taken two measures. Number one, we encourage ticket purchase on a real name basis. And number two, we request that all the tickets of shows and concerts, they need to set a quota for online sales of tickets, and the quota should be about 45%. So this has significantly reduced the phenomenon of ticket scalping. You also talked about fraudulences in some of the tourist destinations. Yes, those are realistic problems that we face, but we are determined to take some measures. Whenever we encounter such a problem, we will get into contact with the local authorities, and wherever we identify a illegitimate behavior, we will initiate the compensation procedure, and those violators, they will be punished. In so doing, we can deliver a much more standardized market. You also talked about the issue of payment for foreign visitors, and this is something we have not anticipated in the past. As China develops digitally, mobile payments has become very popular amongst our population. And right now, mobile payment is more popular in China than anywhere else in the whole world. With one cell phone, you can solve all the problems nowadays in China. But this is because we are far ahead, that there is a gap between Chinese travelers and foreign travelers. And when foreign travelers come into China, they find it difficult to make payments with their phones. And when this problem has been widely discussed, we have established special mechanisms to solve this problem. Prior to the two sessions, on March the 1st, an office of the State Council has released measures to optimize payment services for foreign visitors, and we are right now putting these measures on the ground. So we will make it possible for foreign visitors to make payment by simply scanning the code or with their credit card. We used to experience a period where payment is made by credit card. But right now, the POS machines are outdated. But right now, if you go to Shanghai, you will find out that updating their payment facilities, bringing back the POS machines, which allows their guests to swipe their credit card. And we have even traveled there and tried with our own credit card, and it works. And in Beijing, we will also upgrade the payment facilities for foreign visitors. If we're talking about a small amount, you can simply pay with your phone by scanning the code. Mobile payment is also practiced overseas, but we're simply talking about two different QR code systems. And we want to break through the two different systems so as to simplify the procedures of bundling your phone with a bank card. And there is also the issue of payment quota. On the precondition of ensuring financial safety, we will try to increase the quota of smartphone payment. And foreign visitors, they are getting used to mobile payment in China, and when they use it, they will find how convenient it is. But we also allow payment with cash. I want all of you to tell the story that China allows payment with cash. It is illegal for any merchants to refuse the payment with cash. And they also need to prepare some cash just in case they need to return some pennies or bucks. We encourage honest and credit behaviors amongst all merchants. In terms of the convenience of foreign visitors in China, we are streamlining our procedures, solving problems one by one, ranging from visa application to flights, to check-in a hotel, and to payment. Whenever there is an issue, we will get on top of it and get it solved. We believe that these measures, when they are translated into reality, foreign visitors will find it very convenient when traveling into China, and they will be entitled to all the convenient services in terms of eating, checking a hotel, or traveling. We welcome more foreign visitors to come into China to appreciate the beauty of Chinese culture and the profound history of China, and to get to know the development miracle that we have created over the years, and also have a taste of the courtesy and generosity and friendliness of the Chinese people. Welcome to China. Thank you.
Next, let's welcome the second minister, Minister of Central Administration of Customs, Mr. Yu Jianhua. Now we open the floor to questions. Thank you. From Xinhua News Agency. Good afternoon, Mr. Yu. The administration just published the data about import and export. So what is the general situation of foreign trade, and what measures will the administration take to implement the goal of foreign trade as has been mentioned in the government work report? Thank you for the questions. As you know, Central Administration of Customs is responsible for the organization and publishing of the foreign trade statistics, and we follow closely the change of import and export. According to the statistics, we continue the recovery in this year, and we got off to a very good start in many ways. For example, in terms of the scale, we broke the historical record. In the first 2 months this year, export and import reached 6.6 trillion, an increase of 8.7%, and export increased by 10.3%. Compared to the previous historical high realized in 2022, that was an increase of 430 billion RMB yuan. Of course, even denominated by US dollars, we also registered an increase in import and export. If you look at the quality, we have higher quality of growth. We have more diversified trading partners in the traditional market and in emerging markets, we performed well, especially with the countries along the BRI initiative. Export and import increased by 9%, higher than the growth rate on average. As a big manufacturer, China is playing a significant role. As to the increase of the intermediate goods, we had an increase of 8%. The new forms of business and new drivers are maintaining a good momentum. For example, the cross-border e-commerce registered rapid growth. In terms of the creative goods, makeup, the NEVs, and some other local brands, they are very popular overseas. If you look at the trend in general, we are accumulating more favorable conditions. According to the statistic from customs, in the first 2 months this year, the applicants for customs clearance had an increase of about 10%, and the transportation for inbound and outbound services, there was an increase as well in terms of transportation flow. People have more confidence, and both in China and abroad, we could sense a high vitality. And also, the proportion of enterprises expecting to increase export and import also went up by 23 percentage points. In general, this year, China's foreign trade got off to a good start, and we could judge roughly that we are able to maintain such growth momentum within a certain reasonable range. And according to the government work report, asking for quality improvement and steady quantity, I think we are grounded to realize the goals. But of course, we are confronted with many complicated factors requiring us to strive hard. And under such circumstances, the administration will work on the following too. First of all, we will step up our efforts to execute the 19 measures introduced last year to improve the business environment. And also on top of the new requirements this year, we will come up with some targeted facilitation measures as well. We will take the lead to offer more convenience to the cross-border trade with some special campaigns. And we will offer more convenience to the enterprises, particularly. Together with the other ministries, we will make such an intermediate goods list in order to promote the development of trade of the intermediate goods. As to the rebate of products on the e-commerce platform, we will also improve the environment. And also, we will also come up with certain measures to promote the trade in the bordering areas. Secondly, we will optimize our services. We will play the role as the single window opening to the outside world in terms of foreign trade, in terms of trade, logistics, and other stages. We will be the comprehensive service station, and there will be even doorstep services from the customs office. With the long-term mechanism in place, we will listen to the calls of the enterprises and take targeted measures. In addition, the administration will continue to monitor and analyze the trade statistics and do our survey of the overall situation. We will offer more services to the enterprises in production and customs clearance. Thank you. Next question.
Thank you. In the government work report this year, we vowed to build an intelligent customs office. What are the specific plans? Thank you for your question. It's a good one. According to the work report of the government this year, we will enshrine the construction of a smart customs office as the key task. And this is not just involving Chinese customs, but also the whole world. we need to look at this issue from three perspectives. First, demand. China Customs, as the customs office of the largest trading country in the whole world, each and every year, we handle a great amount of cargoes, containers, and transportation means, and this is quite unprecedented. On the other hand, international trade is now featuring a trend of smaller and smaller parcels, and right now, cross-border parcels and cross-border e-commerce, they handle a total of more than 7 billion parcels each year. And that gives you an idea of the enormous workload that we are handling. And also, entities of foreign trade are becoming more and more diversified. 10 years ago, there were only 350,000 foreign trading companies, and last year it reached more than 630,000. Behind this positive change are the rising risks and difficulties for our work as customs. We need to deal with fraudulences and hiding of information and goods at the border, and we're dealing with more risks. The means and approaches of work that we took in the past are no longer able to deal with the changing situation as we face today. So it is imperative for us to build smart customs. It is also an urgent task. And second, we believe we have the supporting facilities. In recent years, we have been practicing a single window and also custom clearance approaches, and we have accumulated some very successful practice. In the meantime, AI, cloud computing, and big data, they are materially applied in all the scenarios. They are willing to provide us with effective solutions. And third, there is this expectation from the market. All the customs in the whole world, they want to modernize the operations of customs. Chinese customs, each and every year, we handle the largest amount of goods and cargo. We handle the most scenarios, and we practice the maximum business scenarios and models. So we have the resolve and confidence and experience to explore the most effective model for customs operations so as to facilitate the international trade and make it more convenient and safe. Over the years, we have been implementing the instructions of Xi Jinping on building smart customs, building safe borders, and making safe connections in some of the key areas. We have made some meaningful explorations and achieved some achievements. There are multiple experiences and cases, and let me share with you one case. In recent years, we have seen some travelers bringing in beneficial insects from overseas, and they pose a threat to China's biosafety. In light of the situation, we are using big data models, and we painted a picture of 3,000 beneficial insects, and we also worked out a simulating database. Using a special technology, we allow machines to automatically identify and recognize those beneficial insects, and that has significantly enhanced our work. Last year, we have identified more than 44,000 such insects. The fundamental goal of building a smart customs is to take the initiative to take various measures with some technological means so that illegal behaviors can be contained, and enterprises engaged in illegal operation, they can be punished and identified. Going forward, we are going to improve our work plan by formulating a timetable and a scheme that encompasses near-term, mid-term, and long-term plans. We will accelerate our work so as to serve the construction of a stronger socialist country with smart Chinese customs, and also empower the modernization drive of China. At the same time, contribute the Chinese wisdom and Chinese solutions to the smart customs building of the whole world. That is why we are going to strengthen exchanges and cooperation with customs all over the world. At the same time, we will step up our coordination with our local counterparts so as to achieve integrated data and shared data and information and form a joint strength. In this process, we welcome the support and attention from all walks of social life, and we also hope that our friends from the media can cover our progress. Thank you.
Now let's invite Minister of National Financial Regulatory Administration, Mr. Li Yunze. Now you're free to ask questions. Thank you. From the China Securities Journal, Minister Li, the diffusion of financial risks is a buzzword right now. For example, the settlement of the SMEs, and also you are aiming at cracking down on illegal financial behaviors. And what's your take about the situation right now in the financial market and how to defend the risks from the financial sector? Thank you for the questions. And also, I would love to thank all the media friends for your long-term support of the financial sector. And the prevention of financial risks is an eternal task for us. It matters to people's property safety and our national safety. As the regulatory administration, defending against the financial risk is the top priority for us. We will implement the arrangements from the Central Financial Work Conference and follow the pathway of financial development with Chinese characteristics to defend against the systemic financial risks. As to my take of the status quo in the financial sector and what we can do to deal with the financial risks, first of all, about the situation of financial risks. First of all, right now, in China, in general, the financial risks are within control. The banks, insurance companies are in steady operation. In particular, the major financial institutions have very stable operation. So it is fair to say that the fundamentals of the financial sector are sound. If you compare with the domestic or international regulation criteria, the major standards in the financial sector are normal. And by the end of last year, the non-performing loan ratio in the banking sector was 11.6%, and the asset adequacy ratio was 15%. The insurance payment ratio was 100 and even more. And in some places, there might be some small-sized financial institutions with high risks. But in terms of the number of those institutions or the scale of the credit, they are taking a lower proportion in the entire financial system. And also, we are meeting with the local party committee and local government to come up with the measures to guard against financial risks. Second of all, in face of the financial risks, we have sufficient resources and conditions to respond to them. We follow the leadership of the CPC Central Committee with the system advantages, and we can concentrate all the resources on doing one good deed. And the overall and long-term trend of the financial sector remain unchanged. And that would be the guarantee for the measures going against the financial risks. And in the insurance sector, the provisions exceeded 50 trillion RMB yuan. We also have the financial-related insurance fund and the funds in different sectors. So we have very solid ground to guard against financial risks. In addition, in terms of the instruments to deal with the financial risks, they're more diversified. Especially after the Financial Work Conference last year, the mechanisms to deal with the financial risks got improved, and we have the confidence and conditions and capability to safeguard financial safety in China. The third thing I would love to mention is high-quality growth is the one way to diffuse the financial risks. And financial sector was born with risks. The key is to effectively control the risks, to prevent the financial and economic sectors to have big ups and downs. Decades ago, the state-owned commercial banks used to face major challenges and risks. And then after reorganization and marketing, they successively diffused the risks, and their overall capacity rank among the top in the world. So we must foster correct concept of risks, and we must be objective in reviewing the risks in terms of economic and social development with high quality. We must also pursue high quality financial development. As to how, right now, we should focus on the following measures. First of all, we must be farsighted. That is to say, we must take early actions and be very active in conquering the difficulties. For example, we must source to the root and correct the wrongdoings very early and set up such a whole process, risk prevention mechanism to have early recognition, early warning, early exposure, and early settlement. Meanwhile, we will speed up our big data development so that we could have an overall grasp of the situation, and we pursue the digitalization and intelligence of the regulation. Second, targeted measures. We will introduce targeted measures to solve the pragmatic issues, and we will categorize our measures based on the different regions. And with the precise measures, we will try to reduce the risks and avoid any emerging new risks. And we will take sustainable measures in this battle, especially for the reform of the small and medium-sized financial institutions. And meanwhile, we will ensure timeliness of the measures. And while we are dealing with the risks, we must avoid any further risks to come up in this process to ensure the stability of our economy. And next, we must strengthen our supervision, especially in 5 areas. We will take measures to abide by the rule of law in financial regulation, to fill in the loopholes of our systems and mechanisms in order to improve the efficacy of the law execution process in the financial sector. For the key persons, key behaviors, we will crack down upon them if they pose major risks to financial stability. Fourth, pursue the effective synergy. We will try to work together with the others, and for all financial behaviors, we will monitor them closely. We will take the lead to set up the accountability system and ensure the bottoms. And for the different industries, we must properly manage the risks. And in terms of abiding by the law, we must focus more on the illegal behaviors in our regulation. And we must also coordinate with the local party committee and the local people's government so that we shoulder our due responsibilities and take certain measures in coordination. And today I would love to take this opportunity to give some warnings to the consumers. Please be aware about some illegal financial behaviors that may present themselves in different forms, and we also invite the media groups to work with us to publicize on such illegal behaviors and our measures to crack down upon them. Thank you.
Next question, please. Thank you. Good afternoon, Minister Li. I'm with South China Investment Daily. According to the government work report, this year we need to improve the overall quality of the Chinese economy. What measures will your ministry take to support the financial insurance industry of China, as well as the banking sector? Thank you for your question. Real economy is the foundation of the financial industry, and the financial industry is the lifeblood of the real economy. The two go hand in hand. In recent years, according to the arrangement of the State Council and CPC Central Committee, we encouraged the financial industry to come back and focus on the real economy so as to make their contribution to the recovery of the real economy. In general, we have seen one rise and one fall. The rise is the rise in improving the service quality, and they also improved the service scope, ranging from Mohe in the north and Sansha in the south, so that we have our service outlets in every township. The overall financial asset of China has exceeded 46 trillion yuan, significantly improving its support to the real economy. And last year, newly added loans reached more than 1.3 trillion yuan in high technology, smart and green enterprises. They have saw a credit loan increase of more than 20%, and the support of the insurance sector has been significantly enhanced. We have paid a total of more than 1.2 trillion yuan worth of insurance claims during the major floods last year in Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei region. We have disbursed a compensation of more than 12.6 billion yuan. So this is truly demonstrating the buffering role of the insurance. The fall refers to the reduction of the comprehensive financial and financing cost. The interest rate for loans has been brought to a historic low. Last year, we also worked together with the People's Bank of China so as to reduce the loan interest for the first home that people buy, saving 170 billion yuan worth of mortgage interest every year. We also work together with banks to reduce the handling charge. For 3 consecutive years, it has been going down. And for those car purchasers, they can save a total of more than 140 billion yuan worth of financial service charges. And we are mindful of the deficiencies and weak links of the financial service sector. And right now, what's truly important is to promote the circulation of capital, assets, and financial wealth, so as to make breakthroughs in some bottleneck issues and solve the problem where there is capital but no financial investment channels. We need to make important breakthroughs in solving the bottleneck issues. We're going to follow through the government work report to deepen the supply-side reform of the financial sector and strive to provide stronger financial support to the real economy. We will mainly focus on the following three areas. First, serve the new quality productive forces. This will become a key grasp of our work. We are going to comprehensively support technological innovation. In January this year, we have circulated a special document allowing us to provide full lifecycle financial services to the high-tech enterprises. At the same time, we are working together with financial investment companies to expand the pilot program of equity investment so as to step up our support to startup enterprises. We also have plans to support the green sector. This means we're going to practice green trusting services and insurance and financial services and financing services so as to drive China's low-carbon green transformation. We stand ready to support up-and-coming sectors and emerging industries. At the same time, we will support the digital transformation of traditional enterprises and industries so as to cultivate new growth drivers. Second, serve effective demands. In terms of consumption, we will guide financial institutions to trigger and increase a new type of consumption and recover the traditional consumption. We support the trading services for consumer goods. We are researching into relevant measures to reduce the low interest for the first car people purchase. And we're also working on a pricing mechanism for new energy vehicles. In terms of investment, we are going to step up our support to major projects and programs. Meanwhile, we are going to implement the financing mechanism for real estate sector and support the construction of affordable housings in cities. In terms of foreign trade, we are going to actively support EVs and other three new sectors of Chinese made-in-China products so as to give them more targeted, comprehensive financial services. Additionally, we are going to expand the coverage of export credit insurance. We're also going to improve our inclusive financial services. A special campaign is rolled out to support credit support to small and micro-sized enterprises. We take all market entities as equals, and we will step up our support to private enterprises. In old age care and healthcare industry, we are going to support private entities to supplement the offerings of insurance and healthcare products. For delivery services and those who are engaged in the platform economy, we insurance companies to come up with some special products. In terms of disaster relief and prevention, we are going to extend the coverage of agricultural insurance products. At the same time, we are going to develop some disaster-related insurances. This will allow us to come up with better services for disaster relief. Ladies and gentlemen, as we put behind us the 2 sessions this year, we're going to get down to work. Our ministry will follow through the spirit of the 2 sessions and work as a doer and implementer of all the decisions and arrangement of the CPC Central Committee and State Council. Thank you very much.
Now let's invite Minister of General Administration of Sports, Gao Zhidan. Good afternoon, everyone. Now you can feel free to ask questions. Thank you from CMG. Good afternoon, Minister Gao. Last year, the Hangzhou Asian Sports Games and some other games have been staged. Sports has become a popularity among the masses. So what's the plan for this year's sports sector? Thank you. Thank you for your interest in the sports business. Since the 18th National Congress, the CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, pay high attention to the business of sports. And at national level, we decided to develop China into a strong power in sports by 2035, which depicted the blueprint for us in sports sector. And last year, we had sustainable, healthy development of sports business. For example, the whole mass fitness day and the ice and snow season activities and other mass-based sports activities were welcomed nationwide. And the civil society's competition and contests were popular, and the football games have entered into the communities, enriching the offerings of sports games. With the sports offerings, we hope to improve people's livelihood. And also we witnessed the increase of the stadiums. In 2023, per capita area of stadium was about 2.89 square meters, and as to the comparison with 2019, that's an increase of 107%. The games for university students, Universiade, and other games have broken the record in terms of performances. Sports for youngsters were booming, supporting the consumption in the sector, and the Chinese spirit have been heard by more people, and we even contributed to building a bond among the people. All types of goals are being realized. Now, we have 11 years left to hit the target by 2035. We are aware that there are still some weaknesses to be resolved. In different sectors of the sports business, the issues of imbalance remains to be resolved. The mechanisms of sports management may not be adaptive to the new demand of this era. And we even face some new conflict, for example, the lack of innovation. After reform of sports, we had some corruption issue in the football sector, and those fail the expectation of the people and the CPC Central Committee. And in the next step, we will focus on the prioritized issues and the difficult points to speed up the development of building China into a strong sports country. And we must be people-centered in pursuing that goal. And the fundamental target of a 2035 target is to serve the general public. So we will do every bit to meet people's demand for comprehensive development. Sports would be the starting point to build up the national spirit, to strengthen people's body and especially the youngsters. In that way, we will meet people's aspiration for the sports sector. And continuously, we will pursue high-quality development, which will be our top priority. We will try to implement the Health China policy and execute the national strategies like the mass fitness, and we will enrich the activities of sports for the general public by offering more venues for the general public. And we hope to unite together to contribute to the great rejuvenation of China. We will prepare for the Olympics in Milan, and we will try to aggressively develop the sports industry to create a new development landscape and transform the sports sector. That will work together with the campaign of common prosperity and village revitalization. Cultivating people's body and people's mind come together. We will encourage the youngsters to be part of the sports activities to improve their health conditions, and we will also cement our cultural confidence to improve our soft power. And that will facilitate the prosperity and development of sports business. And by the way, they can tell good story in the sports sector and convey more positive energy. Third, reform and innovation are key. We will improve the level of public services and optimize sports governance. We will coordinate the certain sports agencies, the social organizations and government agencies to reform themselves, and we will clarify their functionalities and have more effective management. We will coordinate the market, the government agencies, and the different circles of the society so as to have joint forces to realize the 2035 goal. And we will encourage diversification in the exploration. Different innovative forces will be put together to generate more practices. To build China into a strong sports country, we will also have more party building in the sports sector. And by taking the opportunity of the central inspection and rectification, we will crack down on the corruption behaviors in the sports sector. We will try to solve the issue of corruption in the sports sector and lay a solid political foundation for the 2035 goal. Thank you. Next question.
Newspaper Российская газета. Our recent years, consumption of sports, including winter sports, was witness a boom. So my question is, what is the measure of the General Administration on Sports of China in further promoting the development of the sports industry and related consumption?
谢谢这位记者提问。我们请在现场的新闻组工作人员帮忙把这个问题翻译一下。
Your question will be translated consecutively.
高局长您好，俄罗斯报记者提问。最近几年，冰雪运动在内的许多体育消费项目，它的消费呈稳定的增长态势，并且十分火爆。那么我的问题是，体育总局在进一步推动体育产业的发展，促进体育消费方面，将会采取哪些举措？谢谢。
好，请高局长来回答这个问题。
好，谢谢你的提问。
Thank you for your question.
产业问题啊，是全世界都关注的一
So
个这个经济的
the sports industry is a question of concern
近年来啊
across the whole world.
呈现了持续发展的。
In recent years, China's sports industry has shown a great momentum of growth. Since 2012, the added value of the sports industry has seen 15% of growth each year. In 2022, the total size of this industry reached 3.3 trillion yuan, and the added value hit 1.3 trillion yuan. So the sports industry is empowering the whole economy in three dimensions. The first is it can support many economic activities. In recent years, many of the cities, they are hosting international competitions which improved the image of the cities, empowered the infrastructure of the cities, and driven their economy. So the number of visitors has been translated into drivers of economy according to a survey. For sports competitions, they will drive a lot of consumption in terms of restaurants and catering, as well as hotels, and the driving force ratio is 1:3. And the University, Chengdu, Nanning, Hangzhou, and Hulunbuir, they have seen a total consumption of more than 130 billion yuan. in the sports industry, which was a year-on-year increase of 10%. And then there is this effect of integration. We have been supporting the integration of sports with relevant sectors to cultivate new business models and scenarios and formats of the sports industry. Sports competitions are walking into the grassroots level and villages, and sports industry can truly serve as a platform where e-commerce and all the other business entities can come on board and gently promote local economy. During the Spring Festival, 26 national ski centers have seen an unprecedented number of visitors, and they have seen a year-on-year increase of more than 50%. And then there is this driving force effect. Skating board, sails, and also ski boards have become very popular. Frisbees and rugby are gaining popularity in China as well. During the Spring Festival in Wanning of Hainan, 30 sailing clubs have seen a boom of their business. And in Yunnan, the first outdoor sports event attracted more than 20,000 participants. New sports items are favored by the young generation, and they have driven the rapid development of relevant sectors. Let me also say that in recent years, the sports facility industry in China has transitioned from a traditional manufacturing industry into an industry of creation, into a creative industry, and their international influence has increased dramatically. Although there is a good momentum of development for this industry, we must be mindful of some of the deficiencies. Namely, we need to improve the industrial structure. Sports companies and sports competitions need to have a better brand and marketing influence. And the potential of this industry needs to be further tapped going forward. We're going to follow through the spirit of the China Central Economic Conference and the government work reports. We will actively cultivate new quality productive forces, focusing both on sports competitions and sports facility industry, so as to drive high-quality growth of the sports industry. First, we will focus on sports competitions and events, so as to deliver a number of sport events that are widely participated. And we will also hold more high-level international competitions with global influence. We encourage different localities to engage in different types of grassroots sports activities. And we also aim to flourish the ice and snow sports in a post-Winter Olympic period. And we try to mobilize 300 million people into the winter sports. We will work together with relevant departments to bring sports into shopping malls, into communities, and into all sectors of social life, so as to leverage the comprehensive impact of sports. And second, promote the transformation and upgrading of sports-related manufacturing industry. And this means that we're going to optimize their model of organization and production. We encourage sports facility enterprises to deliver customized, tailor-made, high-quality products and services, and introduce more made-in-China brands and products, so as to constantly enhance the brand image of made-in-China sports products. And third, consolidate and improve efficient consumption and cultivate more consumption scenarios, improve the financial support mechanism and also the system of consumer rights protection. We will develop more outdoor activities and set up more destinations for outdoor sports tourism by holding a wide range of very colorful sports events. We will be able to practice the concept that lucid waters and Lost Mountains are invaluable assets, and the ice and snow are also invaluable assets, so as to empower greater and better lives going forward. Thank you.
Now let's invite Minister of China National Intellectual Property Administration, Mr. Shen Changyu. Now we open the floor to questions.
好，请北端那位穿黑色上衣拎包的那位女记者。
谢谢主持人。
Thank you.
中国企业报记者提问。
From China Enterprise Daily, Minister Shen, according to government work report, for enterprises with different types of ownership, there must be a sound environment for fair competition. Could you introduce to us about the measures taken to protect IPR for different types of enterprises, including the private enterprises, and what is the development situation of the IPR sector? Thank you. I would love to take this opportunity to thank the media friends for your years of interest in and support of the IPR sector. The question just raised was a critical concern of all enterprises. Strengthening IPR protection is the manner to create favorable business environment. The State Council and the CPC Central Committee pay high attention to that issue. According to President Xi's instructions, strengthening IPR protection is the most important way to improve the system of IPR, and it's a great incentive as well to promote the business environment. And the State Council has come up with different policies. Last year, a new round of IPR institutional reform was unveiled. Different policies and regulations were promulgated, working together. And as to the level of IPR protection, it's boosted as well. I have a set of data to share with you. First, last year, the satisfactory ratio about IPR protection was raised to 82, which was a record high. Second, last year, the foreign applicants in terms of invention in China exceeded the number of 900,000, a yearly increase of 4.9%, which is approaching 5%. Last year, the foreign applicants for the trademarks and the number of registration of trademarks was over 1.2 million, an yearly increase of 3.4%, which is a full manifestation about the attention from the foreign enterprises. And those enterprises are confident about IPR protection in China. The third set of data was last year, WIPO mentioned in the Global Innovation Index that China had 24 among the 100 in terms of innovation index, and that was the first time for China to make that achievement. And also in the award ceremony for Global Innovation Award, among the 7 enterprises winning the award, 2 came from China. And that number was also coming as the first place in the world. And the 2 enterprises are both IT companies, showcasing the vitality of innovation in China. This year, according to the requirements of the government work report, we will continue to enhance the level of IPR protection, especially with the foreign invested companies and private enterprises. We will set up such a regular communication channel regularly for those private enterprises and foreign invested companies. We will listen to their suggestions and pursuits so as to come to their help in the field of IPR protection. We will continue to serve the SOEs, private enterprises, and foreign invested companies alike. This year, we will focus on the following measures. First, we will continue to improve the IPR protection system by coming up with certain projects implementation plan so as to strengthen the whole IPR protection and create a new landscape for IPR protection. Second, we will improve the laws and regulations in IPR protection. We will comprehensively execute the newly amended regulations of IPR protection. Especially, we will push forward the new round of amendment of the trademark law. We will also set up a protection rule for data protection. Those will pave the way for IPR protection legally. Second, we will also come to the source to protect IPR, which means we will keep improving the quality and efficiency of our review. We will optimize the procedure of our review work for enterprises to better benefit from IPR protection. We will try to maintain the authority in order to ensure stability of IPR protection. Fourth, we will set up certain platforms and mechanisms for IPR protection. For example, we will usher in a grand landscape for IPR protection so as to cover different stages. We will optimize the data distribution and set up some demonstration zones for IPR protection with high quality to offer more cost-effective ways of rights and interest protection of the enterprises. That will create a sound business environment. Thank you.
Next question, please. Thank you. I'm with Sichuan Broadcasting Station and Sichuan Observers. To my knowledge, the State Council Office has introduced a special work plan to advance the protection of IPR. Can you tell us more about this work plan? Thank you very much. We have strengthened the commercialization of patents. This will create great impetus to high-quality developments and new quality productive forces. At the end of last year, China had a total of more than 4 million effective invention patents, and we pay close attention to the commercialization of these patents. General Secretary Xi made specific instruction to create a favorable condition for the utilization and commercialization of these patents, and a special campaign was launched by the State Council. As the Intellectual Property Administration of China, we will see to it that this is put on the ground. At the ministerial level, we have established a joint mechanism across different ministries to jointly push for the commercialization of these patents. We have established a special task force to work specifically on this task. And there is a synergy between different ministries, and we have made some important progress. In the government work report this year, it was mentioned that at the end of last year, the overall transaction amount of the technological transaction contracts has increased dramatically, and many of that were invention patents. And this year marks a crucial year of ours. We're going to follow through the spirit of the government work reports and focus on the following areas. First, to streamline the inventory patents of research organizations and universities so as to form a pool of patents that are commercializable, and then coordinate with relevant enterprises to jointly commercialize these patents. Second, practice industrialization of patents and solve the difficulties of research institutes in commercializing patents and also the difficulties of enterprises in obtaining patents and technology, so as to cultivate more advanced and sophisticated enterprises on the market. And third, we will practice an open licensing system for patents. This will allow us to reduce the cost of patent transactions and tradings and reduce the cost of commercialization. And last year, after launching this system, we have made significant progress. We have seen a total of more than 17,000 licensings. And this year, we're going to put this system in full practice because it will incentivize enterprises as well as developers and researchers. So that's why we are going to scale up this practice this year. And fourth, we are going to improve the quality of patents. We will look at the efficacy of commercialization to optimize the processes of patent reviews. A sound feedback cycle will be established to consolidate the quality of patents. Thank you very much.
That was the Minister's Corridor event in which 5活动到此全部结束。谢谢大家。